Welcome back to our small Austrian army here in the field, guys. We're continuing our Let's Play. So, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're just now leaving the previous area, moving deeper into the field to see what we can find, of course. But we're facing some potential enemy troops on the way. And I actually want to strike first, really try and do some damage to the enemy before they can do the same to me. On the way, though, let's stop by some slums. Every now and again, you can stop by the slums, help out the people there, and in exchange, they give you some intelligence. That being said, not really interested in this local intelligence. It's a little subpar, if I don't say so myself. I also want to make sure we're raiding resources, and we do seem to be. So let's keep that going. The more we're raiding resources, the more thalers we can get, and eventually purchase an additional unit. So in this case, we're going to provide a significant amount of ammunition here to our men, and thankfully, because of the power and cartridge that we actually gave to them, the raiders were not able to raid the area, and because of that, we got some beautiful Neustadt muskets. Now, the wonderful thing here is we can go into our army, and we can replace everybody with the worn muskets and give them the Neustadts. Again, they're not exceptional, but they'll get the job done, and they're a lot better than these worn muskets, as you can see. They're a lot more accurate. They can certainly hit the side of a barn at a minimum. So there we go. Feel better because our men are somewhat outfitted. Let's continue forth. The first thing I'm going to do is go straight to Gran, and I do believe actually somebody mentioned, let me do that, we can upgrade one of our units. We're also going to rename one of these units for... some people did ask in the previous video. We're going to make that happen right now. The first thing I'm going to do is head to our artillery. No, we can't upgrade it quite yet. Maybe one more point and we can. Let's make sure we're not missing any units for upgrades. No, we just have to go. So we've got a Blazenstein, and I think since he is the first one to request a name, we're actually going to rename the army after Blazenstein. So it's going to be Frank Moritz Blazenstein. And we're going to head back out into the field. Again, I'm trying to get pretty much any unit I can, although a cavalry or artillery unit would be preferable. So first things first, let's sell these worn muskets at the store. Act like we're in a supermarket. The town square, pardon me. All right, and let's take a look at the actual units available here at the barracks. Not a single one of them is what we're looking for. Not a single one is artillery or cavalry. That's a real shame, man. I was expecting to find some. Okay, well, we could get another infantry unit, right? But I'm not so sure that's the right choice. I think we continue. Let's go over here to the supply depot. Or the convoy, I should say. See what's going on. All right, a heavily guarded supply train is en route through the valley below. The carts appear unstable, so we could capture this. We're going to get 4 items for it. Or we could delay the enemy HQ. And you want to know something? I want to delay the enemy HQ. It gives us more of a chance to respond if we need to. And look at that. One of the enemy units looks like a group of Hessians is trying to escape us. You bet we're going to face them, guys, at Tyrnau. And do they have some Hessians there? They do. Okay, the Hessian Musketeers. This is going to be a tough fight. It might seem like they don't have as many men as we do. That's true. But these guys are well trained, and they're all in individual formations, individual army groups. It's going to be interesting to see how we do here. Now, somebody mentioned in the comments, and I really do wish they would change this, but the fact is, there is no reason in this game to launch an attack. It's purely defensive. I would say that's a big negative. And the reason being, the enemy army is always going to come to you. Now, we do still try and put ourselves in the most opportunistic positions, but I have to admit, like, when that person mentioned that, it kind of got me thinking. I was like, you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. That takes away some of the replayability that the game would otherwise have. All right, let's make sure we're not overburdening ourselves here. I hate that we have to put these Crownland recruits over here in this area. In fact, we could do what the Americans did, the colonials, and that is do 3 groups. So the first one, when they break, the second one is ready to fire. You know what? Here's what I'll do. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try to extend our unit like this. And then we'll extend this unit over here like this. I'd love to get on top of that hill there. We'd have some uphill advantage, but let's not push our luck. Let's keep things as they are for now. What I will do is start getting this unit ready. This is where we desperately need cavalry. Desperately. And actually what I'm going to do, since they are focusing over here, and I hate that they're going to get that uphill advantage, though. Let's try and get the Fusiliers over here. Hopefully the Fusiliers can be the first to start firing here. You know things are serious when Agrippa starts getting crazy with the voice. All right, let's push forward here. Push forward, push forward, push forward. I hate that the enemy is right there on top of the hill. I'm going to try to target them, even though we're not in direct conflict with them just as of yet. Fire at will. They could be a real problem, and with that uphill position, even more so. And those are, of course, the Hanoverians. All right, started firing on one. Let's try and bring up the rest of our men and open fire with the Grenzer recruits. Remember in previous battles how quickly these guys broke and ran. I don't want that to happen again. We're going to have to engage them. I hate the positioning, but we're going to have to engage them. And I'm hoping that at least our artillery can do some damage there. I think breaking this Hessian musketeer unit, that's going to be the goal. If we can break them, we can wheel around and deal with the rest. But as of right now, man, they are going to be holding strong. They're quite tough, too. You could see that. I think one thing working out for us is we've got really good positioning here. At least on the right side of our army, not so much on the left. Get them, boys, get them. Got some subsidy recruits looking like they're going to go for a charge soon. Firing at will. There we go. Pretty devastating volleys. And it looks like the subsidy recruits are getting a little bit afraid. Look at that. We've got the enemy pushing forward over here. Son of a you-know-what. The Hanoverians, man. They're going for a straight charge, it looks like. Get them. Got another cavalry unit approaching here. The Provincial Guard. I'm going to focus fire on them. Hopefully our men can hold on while this enemy attacks. We've got 2 enemy cavalry units charging, although we did send the Hanoverians on the run there. Doesn't stop that initial cavalry charge, though. Here we go. Oh! And those subsidy recruits are still strong, man. We're going to have to switch fire. Switch fire! All right, we got them on the run. Decent start. And we've got that infantry on the run, too. I really want to let them have it, too. They dared to come back and try to attack us. We need to make them pay for it. But look at that. We've got other Hanoverians on the run up here on the hill. And all we're dealing with now is that Hessian musketeer unit. Let's keep them covered, boys. Beautiful. Nice little victory for our men, if I don't say so myself. All right, guys. So we're going to get quite a few thalers out of that. And I'm really tempted to go for the veterancy, but I could use the money, man. I really could. We could also use the ammunition. So you know what? For once, I'm going to ransom these units. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can upgrade anyone. I believe we can upgrade our artillery now. So let's do that, and we can make him a field artillery unit. It's going to take longer to load the guns, but they're much stronger guns, of course. Let's take a look over here. So I wouldn't mind giving these guys some tobacco rations, increase that accuracy a bit. And these tea rations are exceptional. And look at that, guys. We can upgrade our first Crownland recruit unit. So we could wait to get a better one, or we could go straight for Fusiliers, and I love these Austrian Fusiliers. Look at that bonus from everything to morale, accuracy, and even charging. I really like this unit. And like I was telling you before, the thing about the Austrian army, as far as I can tell, is you just need to commit to it. You know, you need to commit to making your units better. You're not just going to instantly get, you know, really powerful units. Same thing over here. Another 3, and again, another Austrian Fusilier. Again, if you want to have your unit named, all you have to do is drop that in the comments below. We will make it happen. But I believe we will continue onwards, my friends. I'm hoping that this town of Tyrnau will have an additional unit for us to hire. Hopefully, a cavalry or artillery unit. Okay, we've got some hussars, but they're 1,100, man. We've also got some chevalier. So the chevalier aren't bad. These guys are kind of like dragoons. But we also have another artillery unit, which I really want to take. I'm going to go with the chevalier, though. We need a cavalry unit. It's that simple. We're not going to get anywhere without it. And we can actually increase the accuracy and reload of this unit, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna give this accuracy and reload boost to our Grenzer recruits. I think they deserve a nice little ration here and there. Alright guys, now remember, once that HQ fills up, we've got no shot. The enemy will attack us with a massive army, and we'll simply have to do our best. So we're trying to find these outposts as soon as we can, hit these smaller armies as we can. We've got this British army that's going to try to escape. We can't allow that, guys. We've got to be aggressive here at Heiligenkreuz. Is that correct? Here we go, guys. Let's get into the fight. Again, I think every victory matters in this campaign. It really does. We need to defeat whoever we can, take any items they've got off them, etc., etc. And actually, I'd like to use the hill to our advantage here. Let's see if we can do that in an uphill position. I know technically I don't need to attack. We all know, but let's make the battle at least a little bit interesting. And I'm also going to put the field artillery up there, hopefully. Now, these Chevalier units are also really good at kind of disrupting the enemy. So if the enemy is advancing to a position really quickly, with infantry, for instance, these Chevalier can shut them down pretty fast. Or at least get them to rethink their positioning. Now, as you can see, these British foot are trying to make it to that hill, or at least make it to the tree line here. They'll have some very good cover in the woods, but we'll hopefully beat them with an uphill shot. And actually, that's something for the comments section is, what would you prefer, an uphill position or a wooded position? You can only choose one. We might actually wheel around, guys, with these units and hit them in the flank. We're going to speed up just a bit, just while they get into position. Remember what I said about the Chevalier. So let's move with the Chevalier, and let's get first blood. Just a nice shot down on top of the enemy. This hill is ours! I think that field artillery is in position to fire. Let's do it. There we go, Chevalier firing. Hopefully the Grenzer recruits can start firing already. There we go. They didn't quite get into position as quickly as I wanted them to. That was my fault. And for those of you asking about formations, the only reason we're not switching is we don't really need to in these initial battles. We need to be in this line formation to fire. Enemy's getting really good shots on us there. That I don't like. Let's actually fire at this Red Coat recruit unit. It's not the one we're expecting to fire on, but I think it's the one we need to fire on. Make sure we're up on top of that hill. And I'll take our Austrian Fusiliers, because clearly we're going to be heading this way during the fight. And look at that. They've already got some Dragoons attacking us, man. They're committing with that artillery. Now, for a charge with bayonets, we could go for an attack column. But we're not at that position quite yet. All right, some recruits arriving, boys. Let them have it. You know what? The time is now. Oh, not yet. The enemy's attacking. Shit, the time is not now. The time is not now. We're charging a cavalry. This is not what I wanted to do. That's okay. We're gonna have to eat up the casualties, boys. I feel like just from the pure shock and the downhill charge there, guys, that actually worked out for us, which is crazy. Somebody has to clip that. That actually worked out. And I think it was only because we were doing a downhill charge. We should have been absolutely massacred right there. Light them up. Let's get the Chevalier to chase the enemy. It's another good thing, or one thing they're very good at, is chasing down the enemy. But at this point, we know the enemy remaining is going to be some additional Dragoon units, so let's push in that direction. And I'm actually going to take the Chevalier into the woods and fire at this British foot. Got to get back to the line to fire. There we go. Chevalier already firing from the cover of the forest. I love it. Like, I try to think back to armies like the Mongols and the Huns when I think of these Dragoon units. There's got to be a way to really maximize their ability, you know what I mean? Because they essentially are kind of Hunnic units. They come in, they fire, they retreat, they fire, they retreat, over and over and over again. Eventually, the enemy army, either you're out of ammunition or the enemy army is out of men. It's that simple. How could they charge our Fusiliers? So foolhardy. Let them have it, boys. These are flanking shots too, guys. This should do a lot of damage. You know what? We're going to do a charge with the Chevalier. Charge directly after a volley, as you can see there. And there we go. I love those Chevalier, man. They are awesome. Now, once again, I really want to take that veterancy, but we need the manpower. We always need manpower as the Austrians, you know? Not many are willing to fight for us, let's be honest. But in this case, we are in severe need of manpower. So I'm going to go ahead. Should we risk it, guys? Go for the veterancy gain instead. I'm going to go for the veterancy gain. I'm probably going to regret it, but that's what I'm going to do. Also, von Lauden is ready for an upgrade. The same might be true for other units of ours. That was a mouthful. And we've also got some gorgets. Now, the gorgets, or is it gorgettes, can be equipped. These gorgettes can be equipped into an officer, but in this game, they're really just to be sold. This is kind of like what an officer would wear around his chest. Blazenstein, one of our users, has gotten an upgrade, and I'm going to give him an orderly upgrade. It's a veterancy gain and a stamina gain. I quite like it. And let's see. I really like this reload speed, so I'm going to go for efficient, since we have a whole bunch of course, infantry in our army, specifically Fusiliers, etc. And what about the water? I think we're going to hold out. I kind of wanted to give our cavalry these cuirassier swords. Let's do that. And we need to make it to Gran. We're going to need to purchase men. That's right, we're going to pay them to join our army. How barbaric, right? Boom. And we're going to need more. I knew it. We also need some ammo, believe it or not. So I hate to waste funds on ammo, but when you need it, you need it. It's that simple. Let's go here to the town square, and 1, 2, 3. We've actually got enough where we could start purchasing things for our units. But I was thinking maybe we would get another infantry unit. Ugh. Although we really need that artillery, don't we, guys? I wonder if that's a mistake. Well, let me know in the comments, because we will end the video here. I want to thank everybody for stopping by this episode. Again, if you want to be named in the episode, all you have to do is like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, my friends. We could even purchase some field musicians. These are really great units. All of these staff college units are exceptional. But like I said, let me know. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next one.